What's going on, everybody? My name is Steven. You guys are watching the Fowler Airgun channel. Look, we're back with another video doing a little bit of testing here on our new patented MRAV technology. That stands for the Magnetic Repulsion Airgun Valve. Essentially, inside of the valve of a airgun is a traditional compression spring that puts preload on the exhaust pin, exhaust valve, however you like to call it. And this is replacing that traditional spring there, compression spring, with magnets that are in the same, poles are facing each other. So you ever play with two magnets, try to squish them together when both poles are facing the correct way, and you get that resistance that springs back just like a spring. Well, that's something that I've patented over here, and I'm pretty excited about it, guys. Just doing a lot of testing. So got the 25 caliber platform. This is my custom crawl platform here. This is a platform that ideally I've had for many years throughout my airgun experience, and I really like this platform. I've shot a lot of different airgun platforms, and I think because it is such a budget platform, it is very precise. It has great accuracy. If you're talking about shooting pellets, I'm not much of a super long range shooter, so to speak. I've shot out 200 yards with this. And not with this technology installed, but it's capable. It just depends on what your applications are. Me personally, this is something that I would take out, or I have taken out. You've probably seen some videos in the past. I've taken this airgun out into the game lands. I have slipped, I have fallen, I have bumped and clunked, and just pretty much put this thing through all kinds of heck, guys. And it's a platform that I realistically use. So whatever you use your platform for, maybe you're a bench rest shooter, maybe you're just a backyard plinker, maybe you like to do some hunting, pesting, whatever it may be. This is my platform I like to use for pretty much all the above. Whether it be I just want to challenge myself, I want to stick a really small target out at a much further distance and try to take a shot at it, or if I want to shoot medium-sized game even. This has been capable of tuning all the way up to, like, I think the maximum close that I've had it at was just over 65, maybe close to 70 foot-pounds of energy. So it delivers a lot of punch. And what we're going to do today is I have the chronograph set up here. I have a target downrange at 87 yards. I know you're probably thinking, why 87? It's because that's just where the target is, at 87. So range to 87 yards. I'm not going to be actually tethered. I am going to keep this connected to it just so that this is the air whip to my tank, so that I can just kind of crack that bottle open and fill this back up. I'm going to start at 190 bar. That's kind of an area where I have this tuned right now. That seems to be fairly a sweet spot for most projectiles. So two of these projectiles I have not actually shot out there, the FX Hybrid Slugs and the 35 grain Griffin Airgun Ammo cup base hollow point, large hollow point slugs. We're going to shoot over the chronograph, get some groups out there at 87 yards, and we're going to stay consistent with it. We're going to try to keep everything consistent. Now, this is, again, my platform that I've taken to the field. It's built the way I want it to, even down to my scope mount there has been modified by myself a little bit. So I have a 12 power magnification sniper brand compact rifle scope, first focal plane. It has not got the greatest clarity, so I want you to know that the dots that we're shooting at out there at 87 yards, they are exactly 1 inch, and this literally just covers that dot. So I've added a couple hash marks on the outside of our targets down there, point of aim, so that I can kind of get this thing centered the very best that I possibly can. It's pretty difficult, even with the Caldwell precision turret that we're sitting in here today, to get these things really, right on. We're not getting eagle vision, so to speak. So we're not, high precision rifle scopes and stuff out there and getting really great clarity. It's something I would use that's practical for me in my application. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this chronograph up and running. I've already got this thing topped off for our first fill. We're gonna be shooting FX 34 grain. We're top 34 grain pellets. Some FX 25.4 grain pellets, Griffin Airgun Ammo, 35 grain cup base large hollow point slugs, FX Hybrid Slug, and some of my favorites too, the Nielsen Speciality Ammo, 33.5 grain, 250 caliber slugs. These are all 250 diameter, so to speak. As far as I'm concerned, I'm not sure about the hybrid slugs, or even really about the FX pellets, but I'm pretty sure that they are says 6.35 millimeter, so that's 250. We're gonna assume that that's 250 pretty fit. I'm not gonna be pellet choicey or slug choicey here today, so pretty much take whatever comes and sling it down range. We're gonna see what kind of group we get, but this is also to crunch some numbers for me, so I want to find out, just kind of going through the process of selecting, you know, a projectile and finding out what it does and does not like with this tune that I have on here now. So, you know, without further ado, let's go ahead and turn all this equipment on and get shooting some groups. Alright, got the chronograph on, guys, and we're going to be starting out with FX 34 grain pellets here, right at the top center of that board down there. I'm going to pull out 5 of these pellets here. No need to go through them and sort them like I said, so we're just going to go ahead and start shooting some groups, check some velocities, and see how this thing goes. This is an unregulated platform. I found that you get a lot of turbulence with the traditional airgun valve spring, so this does help to smooth that out a little bit. Let's see how it does. .881 on that first shot, 190 bar fill. .879. .888, pretty good jump there. May have been a little bit high on the fill pressure there, but that's alright, we're going to keep rolling. .895. It's really trying to climb for some reason. I wasn't doing this earlier, but that's alright, we're going to keep rolling with it. 896 feet per second. Okay, let's go Griffin Airgun Ammo. 35 grain cut base. Extra large hollow point slugs here. We're going to see how well these perform. 87 yards. I tell you, the bugs are out in full force. We got yellow jackets and everything already out here. It's just early spring. I guess they were dying to come out too. Lord have mercy. I forgot to air that out. Okay, decock that here. Like I said, we're not tethered, we're just topping off here. So, keep the air connected, but we're not going to actually keep the airflow connected. So, we're at left side circle here on the board. 35 grain cut base. Here we go. 853 feet per second, and you'll notice that even though these are similar in weight, the reason these velocities change like this is from back pressure. Go on, B. Some of these are made with different alloys and leads. So 853 is dual shot, or was that just the first? Nope, that's dual shot right there. 856 feet per second, and depending on how they expand and conform to the barrel, you may get different velocities even though the projectile weight is still the same. 856 feet per second, another dual shot there. Very consistent for an unregulated platform. 861 feet per second. Now, before I forget again, I'll go ahead and top this thing off again. Not doing like, you know, precision filling and everything, so just want to make sure we stay as consistent as possible. Alright, let's move over to some Nielsen Specialty Ammo slugs. 33.5 grain slug here. Let's go center dot here. See how these fly. .867 feet per second. 972 feet per second. .874. Nielsen Speciality Ammo. Another .874. Dual shot there on the Chronograph. See if we can grab another .874. .876. Alright. Top this back off again. Where are we at here? Let's go FX 25.4 grain pellets. So we're going to a much lighter projectile here, and I expect these are going to be traveling quite a bit faster. So we'll see where these are at, and we are going to be shooting the right side of the board up there, right circle, point of aim on the target board down there. Let's see how these group. .999 feet per second. Away from my drink. .998. See if we can keep them right there. .1,001 feet per second. .997 feet per second. Fairly consistent there. .994 feet per second. Top it again. This is our last group here that we are going to shoot. 87 yards. What are we at here? FX Hybrid Slugs. Moving over to something a bit fancier here. Let's see if I can find 5 of them here. There we go. Hybrid Slugs. This is a 26 grain projectile. Let's see what the velocities look like on this. Alright, we're going bottom circle on the board. .972. Another .972. .971. That is some good consistency over 3 shots. Let's see how it acts on this 4th shot here. .970. Pretty good, pretty good. See how it does on this last shot here. Last shot of our testing here, FX Hybrid Slug. .970 feet per second. So that is some great consistency there out of these projectiles. Again, shooting 34 grain FX pellets, 25.4 FX pellets, 35 grain Griffin Airgun Ammo, Hybrid Slugs, and some Nielsen Speciality Ammo, 33.5 grain slugs. Alright, let's go take a look at those groups. Alright, so I'm not going to pretend to sit here and know what all is what. So we'll take the board, we'll go back, we'll look at the footage, and I'll be able to kind of break this down a little bit more for you. All right guys, results are in. Got some pretty impressive results here, in my opinion anyways. Out of a, gotta remember this is a, I guess you would kind of call it a budget-friendly platform. After all the work and stuff I put into it, which it's really just a hobby thing for me, so you know, to me it's not really the dollar figure that matters, but I guess you could say it's a good bench build. But anyway, so I try to go ahead and do you guys the honors of color coding these and make these a little bit easier to show you so we can kind of explain a little bit better. Started out here at the top, 34 grain FX pellets. That's this group right here. 0.953, 0.5 of an inch, so less than an inch, just under an inch right there. At you gotta remember this is 87 yards, so this is just pushing just under 90 yards. So we'll call it close to 90 yards. So we're just under 100 yard accuracy here. 35 grain Griffin Airgun Ammo performed fantastic. Actually, I didn't measure this by itself. I did include the one flyer because, you know, in all reality, if I'm out shooting in the field, I'm going to count that flyer. Because, again, I'm not pellet selecting. I'm not going through and, you know, trying to be picky. This is just, you know, what I would use if I was out in the field. So I can guarantee myself that I'm going to get a 1.135.5 inch group out there. So just over an inch. And to be honest with you guys, if we were to take all 4 of those shots and leave that that one, I guess we'll call it a flyer, out right there, that is an incredibly small group. We have 3 slugs grouped right on top of each other practically, and the one that's just deviated just a hair bit down to the bottom. So I mean, that's, you know, that's easily right there just in itself probably just under half of an inch, maybe just over a quarter of an inch possibly, at almost 100 yards. So, you know, pretty impressive there. Let's see, we had the NSA 33.5 grain slugs. They didn't do super great. They were the ones that kind of expanded the most out of all the groups, I believe. Well, no, that's not really true. We had one good flyer out of here. So, actually, this wasn't our smallest group, our largest group, our FX hybrid slugs were. But let's get off to that. So, 1.5, 125. So, we're just an inch and a half right there at almost 100 yards. You got to remember that, okay? And we had, where we got 25.4 grain FX pellets here. Got a good little group spread of them right here, which is probably about 3/4 of an inch, close to an inch right there. And had one that deviated up there. It made it a 1.573.0, so 1.5, just over 1.5 inch. And then we had our, where we at, FX hybrid slugs. These are FX hybrid slugs. These actually didn't do too bad. I know they're kind of spread apart. You got to remember, we're not shooting precision here with our glass. This is, you know, on a budget end of the glass too, so not getting great clarity out there. These could be tightened up a lot. This is to show you potential here. But again, this is, you know, my preferred platform here when I go out and I shoot medium and even some small game and stuff, but mostly medium-sized game with it. Groundhogs is really the main target of this platform here. But you can see right here that all these going out to 100 yards are going to make some really great accurate shots. You know, even if you really want to get technical with it, let's say we take we wanted to shoot really light and kind of squirrely pellets here, these 25.4 FX grain pellets, or, you know, even really this group was, the NSAs were kind of spread out a little bit more than the hybrids. So we'll say we took the NSAs, right? You know, 1.5 inches at almost 100 yards, anything 50 to 80 yards is still going to be a pretty good dead on shot. You know, I mean, we're not talking about taking super precise headshots, but if you wanted to take good clean body shots all day long and even attempt some really good headshots all day long, you know, so not too bad. Anyways, I thought I'd come and bring you all that right there, show you a little bit of accuracy, a little bit of a consistency over the chronograph here too. That's another thing that a lot of this stuff is grabbing data for myself so I can go back and review this data later and plug it into, you know, my notebook and the millions of numbers that I have in there. But again, this has my magnetic repulsion airgun valve technology into it, so it's you know, it's definitely different. I've been learning. It's a huge learning curve getting to know this valve and how it reacts and stuff. But I'll tell you, I've been very satisfied with it. I do think that it is a very practical and functional application within the airgun industry. And with that being said, that pretty much wraps it up, guys. Shooting some chronograph numbers, shooting some groups out there at what I'd call pretty long distance for air guns, you know. I mean, I know we're not shooting 500, 600 yards and stuff, but, you know, if we were to clean these groups up really good, you know, let's just take this for instance, just to kind of go off hypotheticals, but if we were to clean this up real good and we were to pellet sort and we were to, you know, make sure everything was running flawlessly and we were to top this off the exact same pressure every single time and have regulators and all kinds of things built into here, you know, this group right here, even out of this platform, can get a lot smaller. Could be something more to this. And if we're shooting this at pretty much 100 yards, then we'll just go ahead and say we're shooting that at like 130, 150, you know. Shooting a group out of a fairly budget platform here that you could make some really respectable groups. Again, this is just a practical platform for me. This is, you know, shooting out medium game and, you know, target plinking and, you know, some stuff like that. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know I've been trying to get some content out to you. I have really been just really busy in the shop, tinkering a lot with this technology, and getting it installed into other platforms that I have, seeing what it does and what it does not do, and it's been an adventure. It's been really fun, and I hope you guys enjoy this footage, this video. If you do me a favor, guys, give it a thumbs up if you like it. Subscribe if you want to see more from it, guys. And as always, I will see you on the next one.